Hello, and welcome to the third video in the 7 Bridges onboarding lesson video series for CAVATICA. This video, Project Creation and Collaboration, will introduce you to one of the main functional and organizational units of the platform, the project. While watching this video, please keep in mind 2 key concepts: that projects are the main organizational unit and are divided into containers for files, apps, and analysis tasks. Projects also enable distributed teams of scientists to collaborate securely in a role-based manner. At the end of the video, you will be able to create a new project on either Google or AWS, add a new project member to work collaboratively, apply different permission levels to match these new team member roles, and understand some of the basic project features. We'll now move into a demonstration where we will show you how to create a project and select cloud environment, as well as other project settings for computational resources, add collaborators and adjust permissions for those collaborators, add project description and tags, and how to adjust your project settings. When you have logged into the platform, you will be on the CAVATICA dashboard. To create a new project, you have several options. First, you can go down to your project pane and select this Create Project button, or under the project menu, you can also create a new project. After clicking this project, you will need to give your project a name. This name can be changed later. We will name it an example, something that we can remember so we can easily find this project later. A warning here: the project URL is based off this title, but can be changed independently. This is the only time you can edit the URL for this project. It will not be able to be edited once the project has been created. After you have defined your project names and URL, decide which billing group you would like to add. As a reminder, go back and view the previous videos about how to apply for your complimentary pilot credits. You will then specify the location. This should be with consideration to your projects, its goals, and where its resources live. We'll set ours to AWS East. We also have other options such as Google West. For the execution settings, this defines the compute resources allocated to this project. Spot instances offer discounted pricing when available. We typically turn this on. Memoization, or work reuse, picks up tasks where they last left off. For instance, if there is a step in a task that has failed, it will use the last intermediate computed values without having to recalculate those. This is especially useful for debugging and when preparing for batch tasks. If you're running a multi-step workflow and your Spot instance is interrupted, memoization saves the intermediate files, allowing your workflow to restart where it left off rather than from the beginning. You will also need to make a decision about network access for your project. Typically, network access is allowed. This allows for easier collaboration and distribution of data and other resources. Blocking network access is typically for very high security projects. It should be noted that if you are working with controlled data, even allowing network access is not carte blanche access to the data. Any user attempting to access, use, or view that data will have to go through a secondary system of authorization. Once you have adjusted all of your settings, you can then create your project and you will be taken to this project's dashboard. There are a few things to note about your new project. First, on the project dashboard, you'll see it is divided into three main sections: the description section, the members section, and the analysis section, which includes both tasks and a Data Studio tab. The description section you can use as a lab notebook. You can type things in here to communicate with other researchers. You can embed images. Anything that you can do in Markdown, you can do here in this little lab notebook or description pane. You can also add tags, which will be useful if you are trying to sort projects. After you spend a lot of time on the platform, you may have a lot of projects to sort through. Tagging can make the system easier. If you want to add new members to your project, simply click the Invite New Members button. Choose your member by searching via email or username, and then apply permissions. These different permissions have short explanations next to each. We trust Dave. We will allow him administrative access to the project. We may want to add another user with different permissions. For example, a PI only interested in looking at the results of our research, or someone who we would not like to have access to execute tasks because they have not yet been trained. We can then retroactively change permissions instantly as their permission needs may change. You can exit out here and you will see new users have been added to the members section. This toolbar up here contains the different sections of your project, such as files, apps, tasks, and Data Studio instances, all of which will be covered in later videos. To change project settings, click on the Settings section. You can see here, you can change the name. You can change your billing group. You can change settings on whether or not to use spot instances and memoization, how long to keep intermediate files. You can also do an emergency lockdown of a project or delete the project. This will send a warning before it completes the task. You can navigate back to the project dashboard by clicking on the dashboard up here or selecting the project from your project list. To remind you of the key takeaways, you learn that projects are private and secure containers for your files, apps, and analysis tasks, which will all be explored in the following videos. You can add new members to your project and specify their permission levels. And during project creation and retroactively, you can specify cloud location and compute where the data lives. The only thing you cannot change is that URL. The next video in the series is Project Fundamentals.